Hey friends, Pastor David here with this week's Midweek Minute. So this past weekend, we wrapped up kind of a brief series in the book of Galatians. And we spent some time talking about how one gets connected to Jesus. That you don't have to become something before you get connected to Jesus or become something after you get connected to Jesus for the connection to Jesus to work. We get connected to Jesus by simply accepting what God has done for us in Jesus Christ on the cross. We say yes to the mercy and the grace and the love that God has offered us in Jesus Christ. He invites us to accept that. This past weekend, we talked about what happens then once we actually do get connected to Jesus. And we really do have a couple of choices. God has kind of built into this human experience the freedom to make choices. And what Jesus leaves up to us is the level of influence and power that Jesus is going to have in our lives. We talked a little bit about gardening. You will always harvest what you plant. If you plant carrots expecting to harvest corn, then there isn't something is kind of askew there. You don't get corn from carrot seeds any more than you get corn from carrots or expect to get carrots off of corn shocks. It just doesn't work that way. You always harvest what you plant. So in our connection to Jesus, if we want Jesus to have power and influence in our lives at the level He wants to, then we have to cultivate that connection to Him. Scripture and prayer and worship, becoming generous people as God has been generous to us, giving ourselves away in service to people who need the love of Jesus Christ in their life, sharing the love of Jesus by telling our story with other people. All of those things are like cultivating the connection that we have to Jesus. Those things aren't what we have to do to get connected. They're the things that we get to do to cultivate our relationship with Jesus. So you will always harvest what you plant and what you cultivate in your life. And that works for every facet of our lives. It works in our marriage. Works when we parent our children. It works in our friendships. It works in the way that we care for our bodies. It works in the way we care for the relationships that are really important in our lives. You will always harvest what you plant and what you cultivate. So my challenge to you this week was to remember what it's like to get into a fast car. Now I recognize some of us may have not ever been in a fast car, but anytime we get into a vehicle, we get into that vehicle to go someplace. It isn't to just sit there. Our relationship with Jesus is the same way. It isn't given to us to simply nod at every once in a while. It's given to us so that it will take us somewhere in a deeper awareness of the power of Jesus Christ for our living. Think about that when you get in and out of vehicles this week. Vehicles are meant to take you someplace. So is your relationship with Jesus. But it has to be cultivated. This coming weekend, we're going to start a brand new series. It'll take us the rest of July and into August. We're calling it Fearless. In the world that you and I live in, fear is a big part of our lives. What do we do with it? What does God invite us to do with it? We'll start that series this weekend. I hope you can be with us, either Saturday night at 6 o'clock or Sunday morning at 10:30 or online at either one of those worship services. Until then, I hope you have a great week. Remember, keep looking up, and I'll see you later.